that we are already doing in place to maintain our cruise terminals. We're now implementing an additional in-depth and cutting-edge process using an antimicrobial product called mPact, and that is manufactured by a South Carolina company, mPact Environmental Solutions. And this new process complements several other cleaning and sanitation efforts, including deep cleaning of each of our cruise terminals after each and every cruise, and sailing of that cruise ship, and regular cleaning and sanitizing high-touch areas such as railings, elevator buttons, anywhere that passengers would be potentially in a high-touch area, doorknobs, our escalator railings as well, and countertops. And we've also increased hand sanitizer stations throughout the port complex, and especially in our cruise terminals. When the product mPact is applied and allowed to dry, it leaves a thin bonded film that at the nanomolecular level resembles millions of sword-shaped road spikes, spikes that actively kill bacteria. It has been lab tested and is proven to be 99.99% effective in preventing the spread of COVID-19. Once the product is sprayed on, it bonds to the surface and retains its effectiveness for a minimum of 30 days. In comparison, most household disinfectants have to be on the surface for at least 10 minutes or more to disinfect or kill all germs on the surface, and once they dry, the germs can then again begin to accumulate and build up on that surface. The product is completely safe for the public and will help minimize the possibility of COVID-19 impacting our port and its cruise passengers coming through our terminals. And I now will turn your attention to a brief demonstration by our facilities and janitorial service on the application of that product immediately following this. But before we do that, I will take some questions from all of you. That's correct. And again, we're going to have a representative of the company that can get into a lot more detail on the science of this, but it does actively kill and prevents the accumulation of the COVID-19 virus, as well as a host of other viruses.
What's your reaction to the latest advisory from the State Department basically saying any older conditions should stay out of cruise? Really, the warning was geared towards all Americans that there is a high risk of infection in the cruise environment. What's your reaction to this latest?
My reaction is it's good to have common sense, and we're not telling, nor is the federal government, nor is any of the federal agencies, you can or cannot do it. They're just giving advice. Every individual should be making decisions based on their personal situations. And I know Sheriff Chronister on Sunday, Senator Rick Scott, we're all saying the same thing. Not to panic, use good common sense. I'm not going to repeat all of the things that we can be doing that we've been taught, hopefully by our mothers and our parents, to have good sanitation, but make good decisions based on each and everyone's personal situation.
So is there a company record?
Yeah, there is a company record, Richard, and he'll be available here in just a minute.
I don't know if you can answer this or not, but what would the protocol be if something were to happen here and we were to see, someone on one of their cruise ships test positive or potentially have COVID-19?
Well, first, we've seen that happen in other ports. We are working with our partners, both federal government, state, local, on some protocols that we would have. And more importantly, just as importantly, are the cruise lines. Hypothetically, the hypothetical is we have a place for a ship to be quarantined, both at sea and here at the port.
And people,
they have, I guess I want to make a delineation. If people have questions about the cruises themselves, that's not you guys.
I want to make it clear, I'm not speaking on behalf of the cruise lines. They each have their own protocols, and it would be best that you speak to all of them. I believe many of those of you represented here have done that. Lisa can give you the contact numbers for each of the cruise lines. We have currently have four cruise lines sailing out of our port. We've announced two other that will begin later this fall, and we have the contacts for all those cruise lines.
Are you, can I just ask a general question? Are you, as well as the rest of the cruise industry, even the terminal side, concerned about a downtick in business?
We haven't, I think everybody, and again, I would caution particularly you all, as well as each individual viewer. This isn't a time to panic. We are all paying very close attention. This is unprecedented in our society, here in our country as well as around the globe. We need to use good common sense, as I mentioned earlier. Of course, it's hurting our stock markets. It's hurting in many cases. It may be overreaction, but this is the way markets react when there's sometimes panic. I would urge that we maintain calm, use our common sense, and use the media for you to get us information on what we positively can be doing, not negative reactions.
Have you seen a decent amount of people continuing to?
Yes, we had one cruise ship Saturday, two Sunday, one yesterday, and we do not get the manifest on the until they disembark, so we don't have any indication. But based on our parking lots, they're pretty full, and we have not had any indication as yet that this has impacted their business. At some point, we will have that information.
So bottom line, is it safe to cruise right now?
If I was a cruise passenger and I'm not 80 years or older, with some of the conditions that the CDC has outlined very clearly, I wouldn't have any problem taking a cruise.
And in the interest of time, we can take one more question, but then we need to get the demonstration started.
All right. Okay. The company representative will be here to answer any questions, and then we're going to demonstrate how we do the application. We have some people that know a lot more about the product than me, but thank you for being here.
Did anyone have a specific question affecting the clients for the cleaning company?
Yes. Could you please say and spell your name?
Yes, my name is Justin Evans, Justinevans.
And what is the name of the company one more time, please?
mPact Environmental
And
Solutions,
what's your position with them?
Senior Vice President for Communications.
Okay. Can you just describe the application of this is something where crews do have to wear protective gear, but it's safe after it's been applied?
Absolutely, it's safe.
Okay. Can you describe what it does?
Yeah, so basically you have it's a two-step process. First step is a disinfectant, just like you would have any normal cleaning. The second step is where sort of the secret sauce comes in, creates a micro layer that exists between the substrate and the environment that continues to kill. It stays on for 30 days. It's at the nano level. It's not, you can't feel it. It doesn't have any residual. It has no, you can't see it. You can't feel it. It's not something that you can touch, but it continues to kill for 30 days. It's effective against all sorts of different agents that are biologic, viral in nature, fungal agents. It's a very, very effective disinfectant.
I'm going to have you say that again because we had it.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Sorry. Can you describe again what it's able to take care of essentially?
Sure. It is. You want me to start back at the?
No. Just
describe it.
If you can just describe what it's able to take
Okay.
care of.
So it's very effective against bacteria, fungus, and viral agents, and we can provide a list of what we know that it's effective against. And obviously, there's a lot of things that It still hasn't been tested against, but we have a lot of knowns that we've tested against, and we'll be glad to provide you with a list of everything.
Have you already tested it against COVID-19?
We have, yes.
How,
We.
how
Sorry.
new is this product, and what was the thought process? I mean, obviously, with COVID-19 being out there and causing a lot of
Sure.
concerns for folks, did you guys then decide, hey, maybe this works, and that's why you tested
Yeah.
it? Or? Okay.
It's actually not a new product. It was created about, I think, 12 years ago, Brad, and it was actually it was created for mold remediation, and it was used in schools in different areas. We did some prisons, we did a lot of hospitals, we did a lot of and home building in general. They were using it as a preventative measure as a preventative barrier against mold accumulation. It then began we started to think, well, what else can we use this thing for? So we started testing against all different kinds of things, and it's just a very effective use for all sorts of different things beyond mold remediation. That started the process of sort of how can we get some different use cases here. We tested with lots of different companies. We've tested with everybody from Boeing all the way down to any of your public transportation, your schools, your prisons, just about everything. And it was very effective in many different applications. About 3 weeks ago, this idea came about. Well, hey, let's look at what we can do with this specific strand of coronavirus. We sent some of the active ingredient off to a lab in Germany, and they were able to test it against COVID-19.
And I know that you were saying it lasts 30 days on a surface. Would you recommend doing it every 30 days, or is it every
Yes.
10 days, or what is it?
No, and again, it's on a wear surface. So like a tabletop, for example, is going to get a lot of touch. A lot of handrails are going to get a lot of touch. Those surfaces are going to wear. We recommend every 30 days on wear surfaces. It will stay on other surfaces that are non-wear surfaces longer. We don't want to say definitively how long that is, but it's there until it's gone. It's not going to be you're not going to notice it.
And we have purchased enough products so that we can reapply it every 30 days.
And
Any other
I'm sorry,
areas?
based on the testing that was done by the lab in Germany, a little earlier there was a statement that your product should be effective at reducing 99.99% of the COVID-19 virus.
Yes.
That comes in contact with it. That's a good solid statement.
Yes, sir.
Okay, good. Thank you very much.
And again,
that's backed up by the testing that you
absolutely, and that is obviously we're talking about curbing and preventing surface to human transmission.
Right.
We're not going to tell you that any of this is going to prevent somebody from sneezing on somebody or coughing on somebody. So I want to make that clear.
Just one real quick question. So I was talking with a professor at the University of Florida this morning about this type of thing, and he said, when you sneeze or cough, not only the virus comes out, but often some other stuff like mucus, which sort of acts like a glue. And if you can't dilute that surrounding material enough to get to the virus, it affects your disinfecting or antimicrobial agents and their efficacy. If somebody coughs or sneezes on a surface that you've treated, is there enough surface contact, through that mucus to get to those bad bugs that you want to get to?
Yeah, I'll be honest with you. I don't. It would depend on how to not sound completely gross. It would depend on how thick the layer of mucus was.
Right. Yeah,
So I can't tell you if it's. I don't know if it's a thick layer or a thin layer. If it's a thin enough layer, it's going to be effective.
To remind you, and then maybe we'll take your question, though, this is another layer that we're doing in addition to the routine cleaning. So it would be the hope that if something like that occurred, routine deep cleaning, especially on those high surface areas, would happen something like
Sure.
Right.
Could the routine cleaning clean it off? Stuff that you apply?
No, it will not. You can once this is applied to, you prepare the surface, clean the surface, apply this stuff, it dries, it's there for 30 days. You can re-wipe with Lysol or whatever disinfectant you want to go over with on your daily cleaning. It's not going to affect its efficacy at all.
We'll take Megan's question and then we have to start the demonstration.
Are you working with any other ports or any other? I know you said you're working with some other companies like Boeing and whatever. Are you working with any other ports at this point?
No, ma'am. We're in talks with lots of different folks. We've been in talks with government officials from the state and federal level, both here in Florida and obviously in D.C. And it's one of those slow-moving processes, but we're trying to work with anybody who is ready to protect their patrons.
So this is the first transportation hub since this outbreak that you're using the partners?
Yes. Yes, it is.
If anyone has follow-up questions, you can just text me after. I'll make sure we can try to get those answered for you. But we'll start the demonstration now.
Could I just ask one
Yes.
other thing? So when I was talking with this professor this morning, and he mentioned that
As a
the
reminder, you
EPA
just want to
put
make
out
sure
a
you
list
stay 10
of
feet
products
behind
last
each
week that where they said, these have been tested as effective against, coronavirus. And he, I shared with him your product slide. And he said, I don't see that product on this list, but that doesn't mean they can update this. Do you know, is the EPA looking at this? I know it's registered with the EPA,
Yeah,
generally, but do you know if they're looking at it for this particular application? For the use against this pathogen?
Yeah, the easiest way to answer it is I haven't spoken about the EPA.
Right.
We obviously follow all the guidelines as well as excuse me, but yesterday we had a call with U.S. Department of Commerce. They were interested in getting us in touch with some folks over at the task force that includes some communications. I don't know that specifically the EPA is looking at this product as far as the nationwide rollout.
Okay.
We
Yeah.
welcome that conversation.
Sure. If you want, I can forward you this list that he sent me. Yeah. What's your name?
Justin at mPact USA.
That's I.
That's
Just
MPAC USA.
Thank you. I'll send that. You have a look at it. And if there's anything you want to add, we'll talk about that.
Sure. Yeah, absolutely.
I just, I read your product descriptions and saw that, that listed 229 strains and also, songs. But I knew that coronavirus is sort of a family. It is. I was curious if there works on that. They're going to work on this new one. Obviously, you've got some recent research indicating it.
And what's interesting about it is, think about how this product works. It's more business than pleasure.
Right.
It disrupts the viral agent at the end level.
It punctures the membrane.
Punctures the membrane. It does not allow it to attach to a host. It does not allow it to propagate it. It just is. It's a different. It's thinking about different disinfection.